Om. 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 Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vakratunda Mahakaya, Surya Koti Samaprabha, Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva, सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा ॐ श्रीमात्रे नमः. So we will start with Soundarya Lahari, verse number 39. So in verse number 38, he has taken us up to the Anahata. Now he takes a jump from here and he goes to the Swadhisthana. So let us look at the shloka. Tava Swadhisthane hutavahamahadhadhishtaya niratam. Tava Swadhisthane hutavahamadhishtaya niratam. Tamide sarvatam janani mahatim tam cha samayam. Tamide sarvatam janani mahatim tam cha samayam. Tava swadhisthane hutavahamadhisthaya niratam. Tamide sarvatam janani mahatim tam cha samayam. Yada loke lokandahati mahati krodha kalite. यदा लोके लोकान् दहति महति क्रोधकालिते दयार्द्राया दृष्टिः शिशिरमुपचारं रचयति दयार्द्राया दृष्टि शिशिरमुपचारं रचयति. From the beginning, तव स्वाधिष्ठाने हुतवहधिष्ठाय निरतम् तमीडे सर्वतं जननि महतीं तां च समयां यदा लोके लोकान् दहति महति क्रोधकालिते दयार्द्राया दृष्टि शिशिरमुपचारं रचयति. The shloka that I have sent, there is a spelling mistake. It is swadhisthane, not swatisthane. So it is, we have to make that correction. Tava swadhisthane, tava, your swadhisthana, your swadhisthana chakra. Swadhisthana chakra, swa adhisthana. Swa means own, adhisthana means place of staying. So the natural place of staying for the Kundalini Shakti is in the genital area. So, and it is supposed to be three coiled with the tail ending at the Mooladhara chakra. So, this is the your Swadhisthana chakra. Hutavaham. Hutavaham is the Agni Tattva. Huta is the Agni Tattva. Hutavaham Adhishthaya, invoking. Niratam, deeply engaged. Tamide, I pray to you, I adore you, I devote myself to you. Tam ide. Samvartam. Samvartam is the end of this, the Samvartagni, the Agni that will happen at the time of Mahapralaya. Samvartagni. So Samvartam, Janani, mother, Mahatim, Tam cha Samayam. O great one, Mahatim. For you, your name is Samaya. Samaya, the time. Yada loke, aloke. Yat aloke, your looks. Lokan dahati, the burning of this universe. Dahanam. Mahakrodha kalite, with great anger. Dayardra, ardra means to be moist. Moistening with daya. Moistening with your compassion. So, dayardra ya drishti, your glance, your eyes from your eyes, the moistness of your compassion. Shishiram upacharam rachayati. Shishiram, cooling. Upacharam, service. Rachayati, doing. So, if we put all this together, I am adoring Shiva, who causes this fire of annihilation, who causes this complete destruction that will happen. He resides in your Swadhisthana Chakra. I am praying to you as the great Samaya. Samaya meaning the great Samaya, the Mahakala. When his glance burns this entire universe, your glance, full of compassion, renders the treatment. What does the Sahasranama say? Haranetragni sandagda kama sanjeeva naushadhe namaha. Isn't it so beautiful? So here, what Acharya is saying, that you in the form of Shiva can be working with Pralaya, destroying this entire universe. Is the mother, you render it back again and you create it back again. And all you need to do is to just glance with your compassion and this entire world will come back. So Swadhisthana is the root of creation. That is what firstly we have to understand. So here we have to understand again the inseparableness of Shiva and Shakti. Shankaracharya is not worshipping her. He is worshipping Shiva in Shakti. So if you notice, when we started with the Ajna Chakra, he visualized them as one unity. Then he visualized them as two different unities working with each other. Slowly, he is visualizing them separately with separate functions. And here he is seeing here as completely different between the two, but complementing each other. See, Shiva is Kalagni, right? We see that in the Rudra Prashnam, we see Kalagni Rudraya, right? Trikagni Kalaya, Kalagni Rudraya, Tripurantakaya. We say this, right? Tripurantakaya, not necessarily that the mythological Tripura, but the destruction of these three lokas. Trikagni Kalaya, he is the producer of all the three types of fires. He is the destroyer, he is the Kalagni Rudra. He is the Rudra who takes the form of Agni at the end of time. But beyond all these activities, what is he? He is consciousness, he is Prakasha. And therefore, and how can we attain Prakasha? We can attain Prakasha only through Vimarsha, which is reflection. See, if I ask you, how can you see yourself? Physically, how can you see yourself? You need a mirror. Without a mirror, you cannot see yourself. Whatever be the form of that mirror, it could be a sheet of water, a still water in which you see your own reflection. It could be a piece of glass, whatever it is. But without a reflection, Vimarsha is not possible, isn't it? Similarly, I, the consciousness, can only see myself when there is a reflection that allows me to see myself. That Vimarsha, that Shakti is Devi. So it is said that she facilitates this attainment. How does she do this? She facilitates this by cooling his fiery intent, his fiery nature. So just imagine how fiery it can be. The sun is so fiery that we can't even glance at it when it is in its beyond the sunrise. If we see it for even more than a few seconds, our eyes will burn. Now imagine the fire of Shiva, which is completely destroying this entire universe. So Swadhisthana, now here is this interesting thing. Swadhisthana Chakra, under traditional methodology, is the seat of water element. It is the seat of Apaha, right? We saw that the Manas is created here. Then we saw space being created in the Vishuddhi. We saw Vayu being created in the Anahata. Technically, as we progress from the subtle to the gross, fire should be produced in the Manipuraka. But where does Acharya say fire is coming from? Fire is coming from the Swadhisthana. There are two reasons for this. One, the fire element in the Jataragni, in the Manipuraka, is so strong that it impacts the water element in the Swadhisthana and therefore we can feel the fire over there also. That is one meaning of how it is taken. Another meaning, this is not my, this is my interpretation. This is not from any text, or nor has my guru in the Shakta tradition, nor has he explained this in this way. But my own Manan says that Acharya put the fire element over there because our entire desires are seated around the Manipura Chakra and the Swadhisthana Chakra. Just think. Kama Agni, the Agni of desire. And where is desire? Desire is in the stomach, hunger, right? Various types of hunger. And desire is in the sexual act. So, in these two, desire in the form of fire has been burning us. And therefore, I think Acharya has put that the fiery effect of the Manipura Chakra impacting the Swadhisthana Chakra also. So, meditating on this chakra helps us to control our desires, not only the sexual desires, all desires. It is not, Acharya does not put a separate ban on sexual desire. He puts a ban on desires. Desires by themselves, by nature, are going to create vasanas. Bhagavad Gita very clearly in chapter 2, in verse 62 says that when we keep attaching ourselves to something, then with that attachment, we get the desire. From desire comes anger, and so on and so forth. Ultimately, the person gets completely destroyed. Chapter 2, verses 62 and 63 very clearly explain that. Hence, we have to see that this visualization, this contemplation of Devi in the Swadhisthana Chakra helps us to control our vasanas, helps us to control our continuous desires. Now, Shankaracharya sees Devi as an entity, not as consciousness in Soundarya Lahari. But we have to understand that Shankaracharya is very clearly also an advaiti. And therefore, he says there is no separate being. There is no separate consciousness. Devi is only a vimarsha of the prakasha called consciousness. So everything that we are doing, anything that has a name and a form, including Devi, is Gunamaya. Even when we look at Devi as a form, which means, let us say we put a form called Shiva to that form, it is still Devi because it has Nama Rupa. And if it has Nama Rupa, what is it called? It is Prakriti. It is Maya. It is Mahamaya. And when Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa used to meditate, he had no physical desires. He had only spiritual desire. Is that desire good? Even that desire has to be transcended. So at one point of time, he explains later on, when after his realization and when he was talking to his disciples, he said that every time I would go and meditate, wanting to reach Brahman, I would get the form of Devi, in the form of my Ishta Devi, the Ishta, in the form of Kali, and she would come and she would play with me, and I would sit on her lap and I would feed her and she would feed me, and we would enjoy ourselves. And then I would not go into further. And then one day I decided, I am going. And when she appeared, I took the khadga from her hand. The khadga is a sword of discernment, right? It is the sword of discernment. It is meant to allow us, it is the sword of viveka. I took that sword of discernment and I cut her asunder. I split her into two. And then the waves of golden waves of bliss overcame me. So when we want to go to Prakasha, we have to transcend Vimarsha. That is what Acharya is also saying, that it is her compassion alone that will allow us to transcend her. Swami Vivekananda always used to say that if you want to cross Maya, you have only two ways. Either become so big that her net cannot capture you, or become so small that you can go through the net, go through the holes. To become so small that we can go through the holes means that we need to be able to have a surrendering of our ego. And that is the only thing we have. Physically, if you think, what is your own possession? Only thing that you possess is your ego. Gurudev, story of Gurudev once in Sandipani Ashram. He was sitting over there, and there is a kutia in Sandipani Ashram, and he was sitting, And people were coming, having darshan. Some people were talking. He was generally talking with people. One person came with two large, beautiful hibiscus flowers, and he put them on his feet. And Acharya was Gurudev was very happy with these flowers. He lifted them up from his feet, and he looked at this person and said, "Kahan se laye ho?" So this person smiled and said, "Idhar hi garden se uthaya." And Gurudev had a big laugh and he said, "Mere hi garden se utha ke mujhe de rahe ho." And then see how these acharyas give us in one fraction, it becomes a teaching. And he said, "Give me what is yours. Give me what is yours. Then I can do something with it. You are giving me what is mine. Give me what is yours. And what is yours? You have only one thing, it is your ego. Give it up." So when we give that up, that is when Devi's grace comes on to us and we are ready to be arising to spiritual knowledge. Another thing we have to understand, the word samaya here used also indicates this samayachara, right? Samayachara means, we have seen, isn't it? Samayachara tatpara. So she is internal worship. She who is worshipped internally. The Samayachara tradition, unlike the Kaulachara tradition, the Kaulachara tradition has a lot of external. So it requires you to do X, Y, Z upasana, then do ABC upasana, then do three such and such upasana, and so on and so forth. Acharya was an Advaiti. Advaita says all this is not necessary. And therefore, he took the tradition of Kaulachara and internalized it. And he said, all the rituals will be conducted internally. So here he says, Samayachara Tatpara. So therefore, she who is awakened from the Mooladhara, taken to Sahasrara, completely through internal worship. This Kundalini type of Kundalini worship, this type of Devi worship is the best. And therefore, here he is indicating Mahatim, great Samaya. Great Samaya. So there is an indication of that also. We have to understand that this process of destruction and regeneration, destruction is not destruction, destruction is an opportunity for regeneration. This process of destruction and regeneration is a continuous process and it is going on due to Maya only. It is going on due to Maya only. It is her, therefore, her Kripa Drishti, right? Dayardra, beautiful words, moist with compassion, moistness with compassion. What will that moistness do? It will remove that heat. It will remove that heat. But what it will also do, it will also trap us and keep us in this chakra. So we have to understand that she is also, and see, and when there is the story, there is this beautiful song by Sri Ram Prasad, who was a great Kali devotee. And he has written a lot of Kali Sangeet. They are called in Bengal, they are called Shyama Sangeet. Shyama being her name. So they are called Shyama Sangeet. And, you know, you must have seen that Hindi movie Kai Po Che, right? It's basically Gujarati words. Kai Po means you have cut. Che means you have. Kai Po Che, right? Similarly, in Bengal, they use the word bukatta. So you have cut it when they are flying kites. So he uses this word in a beautiful song and says, here is Kali flying so many kites, and one of them gets cut, and she jumps with joy, shouting, Bukatta, Bukatta, one has flown away, one has flown away. So she is the one who is tying you down, but she is the one who enjoys the fact that she can release you. But you have to want that release. You have to want that release. That release is not just given just like that. Once there was this, it's a very interesting event that happened with me. So I was reading the Srimad Bhagavat and in a train journey. And one of my fellow passengers, he looked at me and he started laughing. So laughing at me. So I asked him, what happened? Why are you laughing? So he said, you're reading fairy tales. At your age, you should not be reading fairy tales. So I said, they may be fairy tales for you. I find them extremely good for my own development and learning. So he then said, what learning? You are reading about Krishna, isn't it? Tell me, who in their sane mind will look at Krishna and say he is a god? So I said, actually, you have to be insane if you have to look at Krishna as God. So that's okay. They said, no, explain to me. If you think he is God, you explain to me. Why would he go and steal butter from other people's houses? Why would he go and release cows, the young cows? They are tied up separately. Why would he go and release them just to be mischievous? So I said, okay. And I don't know where the inspiration for giving this answer came from. Obviously, I mean, where I know it came from Krishna himself. So, so I gave this answer, saying that, see, the gopis were all devotees. And Yashoda was a queen. How can the poor gopi go and tell that mother, the queen, please send your son to my house, I want to feed him? And the Supreme knows this. So what does the Supreme do? He goes and steals the food. So when you call out, he will answer. So he said, what about the cows? So he said, yeah, okay, very good. It's a very nice answer. Tell me what about the cows? Let's see. Then his mother used to tell him, go and tie up the cows or release the cows. He would not release. But when the small calves, they would start crying. Right? They would start crying, waiting for their mothers. He would quickly go and release them, and they would all rush to their mothers. It is when we cry out with that intensity, he comes himself to release us. After this explanation, the whole journey, he was completely silent. He allowed me to read without any disturbance. So, but see, isn't it so true? Which is exactly what we are seeing in this particular verse also. When the Acharya is saying that when he in his fire, Krodha Kalite, right? Then Dayadra Yadrishti Shashiram Upacharam Gachayati. That is what when the Dayadra Drishti will come. So this Agni of the Swadhisthana Chakra, in where Shiva is called the Samvartakeshwara, and Shakti is called Samaya. He is surrounded by 62 Tejasa Mayukhas, the radiant 62 rays, and that is where we do upasana for her. Place for Agni Tattva, while in our physical body is still the Manipuraka, the Swadhisthana is a very, very important place for also the merger of the Apattattva and the Agni Tattva. Physically, in this earth, the Agni Tattva is manifested at Tiruvannamalai. So, which is where, when we go there, we experience the Agni Tattva, and there are processes that can be followed for us to cleanse the Agni Tattva in our physical body. But that cleansing is only a temporary thing. After it has been cleansed, we have to use the body for attaining from Vimarsha to Prakasha. Right? Any questions?
I was just thinking that, like when you said that the fire, of desire, could it be that Shiva, because in terms of what you were describing in that shloka, that Shiva is also igniting that fire of desire at Manipuraka, and that at Swadhisthana it is Devi who is, the calm and with compassion that she is trying to, remove this desire.
We will see her in Manipuraka separately in the next shloka. So just wait for the Manipuraka to come in the next class. So her Manipuraka Rupa is also slightly different from what we have experienced. So we'll have to see that. Right. Should we start with the Argala Stotram? We'll start from the beginning. Atha Argala Stotram. Om Asya Sri Argala Stotra Mantrasya Vishnu Rishihi Anushtup Chandaha Sri Mahalakshmi Devata Mantrodita Devyo Bijam Navarno Mantra Shaktihi Sri Saptasati Mantrastavam Sri Jagadamba Prityathe Saptasati Patam Gatvena Jape Viniyogaha Jnanam Om Bandhuka Kusumabhasam Panchamundadhivasinim Spurachandrakalaratnamakutam Mundamalinim Trinetram Raktavasanam Pinonnataghatasstanim Pustakam Jakshamalam Cha Varam Cha Bhayakam Kramat Tadatim Smaren Nityam Uttaram Nayamanitam Om Ya Chandi Madhukaita Bhadi Daityatalani Ya Mahishonmulini Ya Dhumrekshana Chandamunda Mathani Ya Rakta Bijashani Shakti Shumbhani Shumbha Daityatalani Ya Siddhidatri Para Sa Devi Navakoti Murti Sahita Mampatu Vishweshwari Om Namaschandikaye Shri Markandeya Uvacha Om Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhadrakali Kapalini Durga Shiva Kshamadhatri Swaha Swadha Namostute Jayatvam Devi Chamunde Jaya Bhutapaharini Jaya Sarvagate Devi Kalaratri Namostute Madhukaita Bhavidravi Vidhatru Varade Nama Rupam Dehi Jayam Dehi Yasho Dehi Dusho Jahi Mahishasura Nirnashi Bhakta Nam Sukhade Namaha Rupam Dehi Jayam Dehi Yasho Dehi Dusho Jahi. Did we do the next one? Dhumra Netra? Did we do Dhumra Netra also?
No, we've not done it yet.
Okay. So from there we will start, right? So if you follow the order, then you will see that the order of the Daityas being mentioned is exactly in sequence with the Saptashati. The first two Daityas she destroys is Madhu and Kaitava. The second she destroys is Mahishasura. The third she destroys is Dhumranetra. The fourth she destroys is Raktabija. The fifth she destroys is Raktabija and Chandamunda. And the fifth she destroys is Shumbha Nishubha. So this is the sequence. And that same sequence we are praying to her. So Mahishasura Nirnashi Bhakta Nam Sukhade Namaha Rupam Dehi Jayam Dehi Yasho Dehi Dishvo Jahi Dhumra Netra Vadhe Devi Dharma Kamartha Dayini. Dhumra Netra, the Dhumra Lochana or Dhumra Netra, he had smoky eyes, which means he had grey eyes. Dhumra Netra. And how was he destroyed? He was destroyed with a humkar. Dhumranetra came with a big army and he started jumping and dancing in front of her, saying, "Come, battle with me." And she said, "Hmm." And he became ashes. So Dhumranetra is Dhumranetra Vadhe Devi, he who slayed, killed. Dharma Kamartha Dayini, she is who gives us dharma, the path of righteousness. She gives us kama, all that we desire, and she gives us artha. She gives us the economic benefits. She is the one who helps us attain what is called the Chatur Purushartha. Dharma, Artha, Kama indicates moksha also. So Dharma, Artha, Kama, moksha, all the four, she is the one who can give us these. Netra Vade Devi, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Dharma, Kama, Artha, Dayini. Then next one, Rakta Bija Vadhe Devi. Rakta Bija. What is Rakta Bija? Rakta Bija is a very interesting Rakshasa. Every drop that falls to the ground, one more Rakta Bija comes. Right? What is he? He is nothing but our desires. When you try and feed the desire, another way of thinking, he is actually our thoughts. One thought goes, another thought comes. Thoughts, you try to kill one thought, that thought itself will generate 100 more thoughts. So how do you destroy the thoughts? You put all the thoughts and redirect them towards her. Hence, she will swallow all the thoughts as Kali. Rakta Bija was destroyed by Kali, who drank up all the thoughts, all the blood. Raktavijar Vadhe Devi. Chanda Munda Vinashini. Chanda means anger. Munda is the ego, head. Chanda Munda Vinashini. She is the destroyer of our ego and of our anger. Rupam Dehi, Jayam Dehi, Yasho Dehi, Visho Dehi. Next shloka. Nishumbha Shumbha Nirnashi. These are the Rajas, the Tamas and the Rajo Gunas. Shumbha Nishumbha Nirnashi. Trailokya Shubhade Namaha. She is the one who creates auspiciousness across this entire universe. Rupam Dehi, Jayam Dehi, Yasho Dehi, Visho Dehi. Vanditang, did we go up to here? Have I sent you till one? Where I have sent? Let me see. Yes, the next slok.
That one line is there, Anna.
Yeah,
Vandita.
Vandita. Vanditangri Yuge Devi. Right? Yuge, Yugala, your pair. Yugala, for you two. Angri means feet. Vandita means prayed. Vanditangri Yuge Devi Sarva Saubhagyadayini. She who gives the bestower of all welfare and good fortune. What is the biggest good fortune? Our biggest good fortune is the ability that we can pray to her. There is nothing bigger than this. Nothing bigger than this. हमें एक ability दिया है that we can pray to her. In our minds, in our hearts, she has come. There is nothing bigger than this. What can be bigger than the mother of the universe coming and residing in our own heart? That is what is the biggest thing that she has given. Sarva Saubhagyadayini. And therefore we pray to her feet. Vanditangri Yuge Devi. Your pair couple, your beautiful feet is where we pray. Rupam Dehi, Jayam Dehi, Yasho Dehi, Visho Dehi. Right. Let us finish for today.
Anna?
Yes. Yes, please.
What do you call the Dhumra Netra?
Okay. We'll have to be fast because this will disconnect at 40. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Dhumra Netra, will that mean biased eyes looking
yes,
at things in a very
judgmental view. Judgmental views.
Anna, before I stop, I just want to introduce you to Nalini. I had come to their house, so I didn't want to miss the class. So we both are listening to you together.
Okay.
Yes, good luck from me, like she came at this time and she started the session. I said, okay, even I'll join you. It's good to listen to you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Anna, I'll close.
Yeah. Sita ji.
This is a little bit of a personal question, and maybe other people are having, they feel the same also. Can you tell us why you started on this, these slokams, Argala and all that?
Because I have a very clear directive that I have to teach Saptashati. Now I cannot teach Saptashati unless I teach you all the Purvanga and Uttaranga. So it is an instruction from her.
मुझे लगा अपने poor, sorry faces को देख के आपको लगा कि
हम लोग के सबके सॉरी फेसेस को देख के जगदम्बा को लगा होगा कि इन लोग को सप्तशती पढ़ना जरूरी है, इन लोग को पढ़ते हैं चलो. So very clearly I have been given it's like an intuitive indication that we have to start studying Saptashati as we progress towards ending our Soundarya Lahari. Also we have to study Saptashati, but Saptashati cannot be studied without the Purvanga and the Uttaranga, so we are doing the Purvangas and the Uttarangas. Right. Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.